My number one that I've read and it's on my list to reread again. It's called The E-Myth. It's a very popular book in terms of business, and it's really helping me now more than it did when I read it before, because really the whole idea behind this book, and again I'll have the link to it. I can't give you the author right off the back, but really the whole concept is the author talks about the difference between basically starting a local coffee shop and the difference between a local coffee shop and Starbucks, right? And
What is it
what
called again?
the E-Myth basically, what the whole concept really deals with is creating systems that can repeat themselves over and over and over again in your business. That's going to allow you to have continuous and consistent result.
Michael Gerber.
Yeah, Michael Gerber. Exactly. The really the whole idea is, and I think it's so important, regardless of the industry that you're in. If you want your business to, like, one, if you like, let's say you're wanting to eventually sell your business. In order for you to sell your business, you can't be the main driver of the business.
Yeah.
You have to create the systems that will allow for your business to run whether you're there or not.
Yeah.
That's the difference between billion-dollar businesses and six-figure or $1 million business, is the ability to develop systems, and systems that work whether you're there or you're not. I heard Donald Miller say in an interview, the one that did Story Brand, is your goal as a business owner should be to be able to leave for 3 months, like completely leave, and your business, like, no calling, nothing. You're completely out of the business, and your business is actually doing better than it was when you were there.
Better? That's tough, bro.
That's when you know you developed the machine. That's when you know you hired the right people. You got the right people in the bus. You have the right systems, and sometimes you getting out of the way allows your team to really thrive.
Yeah.
You want to have such a good team that when you let them fly and you're not there, they're actually going to be able to soar even higher because they're just that competent in their role and in their job. And obviously this is down the road, and this looks different depending on the industry, but I think this is the goal that anybody that is looking to eventually sell their business as a retirement option, or just somebody that's really wanting to make a big impact, you have to begin to think about systems that can run without you. And it's tough because it requires a different brain, right? Like, you have to begin to, like, think in terms of, like, step-by-step processes, training manuals, all of these various things, and looking for repeatable things that can happen on a daily to weekly to monthly to yearly basis that will allow for you to really begin to scale. But that's I think what any business owner, I don't want to create a prison for myself or create a place that I don't even like going to because it's so heavy. That's when you have to begin to, like we've mentioned multiple times, go from working in your business to working on it.
Yeah.
And the way that you work on your business is by developing systems, and systems really solve your problems, right? If you find a problem, you have to develop a system that can allow that problem to go away.
Yeah.
And the more that we do that, I think my goal is to be able to leave my agency for 3 months and it's running better than it was when I was there.
It's big.
Like, there's more business being happen. All the clients are happy. All of the clients are doing well. and it's continuing to run but it takes creating a machine. And I think learning those concepts in the E-Myth really will allow for you to do that, because he talks about what it takes to develop these systems. It's really like you're creating a franchise
Yeah.
in a sense. But I think that those concepts, those things that you learn, it helps you to see why certain businesses are successful and why some aren't.
Yeah.
And it's not because one is necessarily smarter than the other or even better. Like, you're not going to get the best coffee at Starbucks. They just have the best systems.
Yeah.
So that I think is really, to me, in the place where I'm trying to go, that material is extremely helpful in terms of helping me in the big picture, how, like, down the road, 3 years, 5 years, where do I want to take this business. I want a business that can operate when I'm not there.
Yeah.
Like, that's my goal. Because time to me, like we mentioned in our last episode, time to me is more important than money.
Yeah.
Because I can make money, I know how to do that, but I can't make more time.
Can't do it.
And developing systems allows, basically, you're developing your time back. You're getting your time back. So that's, to me, is a game changer. Every business owner, ministry leader, it's the difference. It's creating systems that are going to allow you to really begin to scale.
Yeah. And, like the old adage is, good leaders tell time, great leaders build clouds.
I think that's good to great as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, build a system that anybody could look at the scoreboard and say, "Oh, okay, we're losing right now, right? Okay, we're winning by 2." Like, anybody, there's something there to track our progress or how or where we're lacking. So again, anything that's measured could be improved. And
And I think even tying into the big leap, you're like, doing better. That we should actually want. I think even sometimes as entrepreneurs, especially if it's our business, we're like, nobody should do better without me.
yeah, you feel some type of way. Like, wait a minute,
He,
man.
yeah,
You gonna
Donald
leave me?
Miller mentioned that in the interview. He was
Yeah,
like, I was actually kind of offended by
yeah,
how well they did.
yeah, yeah.
And every leader, I think, deals with that.
And then talks about self sabotage. You talked about in the big league. You talked about a leader who was already well off. He was selling his business, and he self sabotaged negotiations because of one because he was supposed to stay on for 3 years, and they gave him one less week of vacation than what he was accustomed to, and he was selling it for millions of dollars, getting a 6-figure salary to stay on for a number of years, and he self sabotaged that because and he ended up, after a while, being able to sell the property. But he burnt that bridge. The things that he said was so egregious that the company that was going to buy his company out backed out. He was like, "No, we don't want to do business with you." That's crazy, right?
Yeah, and I
And
think that's where that deep work and knowing, like, your worth is not in, we're taught that our worth is in what we produce, right? And that in and of itself reduces our ability to scale, because if everything is reliant on you and you being there, then if as soon as you are not available, then the whole thing crashes. And so many people are now, if you die, God forbid, the whole company just goes down with you,
exactly,
because and then all those
because you
people
are
who
you're a
relied,
solo
all
from
those people who relied on the paychecks and the things that they got from, now they have to go get another job because you
system.
wanted, you were looking for affirmation from that,
Yeah,
when that's not where we should get our affirmation from. Like, we should have it, we should say it, whether I'm doing this business or not, I still have a lot of value and a lot of worth. So doing that deep work, I think, is going to be critical, even beyond the systems. Like you have to be willing to step away and
Yeah,
allow it to work, and be okay with the fact that it does better when you're not there.
and that's part of the limiting beliefs that we will hold back ourselves from reaching certain heights or taking certain leaps because of that. Like,
Yeah,
what if I do have 400 units of real estate, 400 doors?
yeah.
There's no way I could collect the rent from 400 doors every month. There's like, I have to bring people in to do it. Am I scared that they're going to steal from me? Right? Because I've gotten money stolen from me before. Right? So, like, all of these fears and all these limiting beliefs come into play when we go to do the next thing, when we go to level up, and we have to do what you say is the deep work of, okay, what are my limiting beliefs? What are some things that are holding me back from taking this thing that could change the life of my family and could change my legacy? But because I, A, want to fight for the position of the victim,
Yeah.
B, want to protect myself from hurt or something in between, we don't do it and we
We
stick
create
where it's
these
comfortable.
false dichotomies
Yeah.
where we think, oh, if I scale, then someone's going to steal from me, so I shouldn't. So
Yeah.
you're willing to sabotage the growth because of this belief, when in fact,
Something
when
that
in
hasn't happened yet.
something that hasn't happened. And even if it does, let's say God forbid it happens, okay, now I'm not going to say that scaling was a bad decision.
It's your checks
I
and
just
balances.
I just need to create the right system to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And that's so again, getting out of this victim mentality or this idea that I have no control. You have a lot more control than you think. Like you have to understand, you have to empower yourself and say, no, it doesn't have to happen for me. Or you start listening to people where, oh, I wouldn't do that because this happened to me. So you start
Oh yeah.
getting all of this negative, okay, that happened to you. That don't mean it's gonna happen to me.
Exactly.
So you have to like constantly keep that mindset that I'm in charge. Like I have the power to control this thing, and this is gonna be, and this is the necessary risk that I have to take in order to go to that next level. And if someone does steal, okay, you let them go. You don't let it happen. You don't just let it continue to happen,
Yeah.
but you say, okay, what did I do or not do that allowed for this to happen? So putting it back on you, because if all the power is on other people, then you're always going to be in a sticky situation. Like I don't blame the people that I'm leading or whatever. Like I'll get upset, obviously, but like I need to the buck stops with me.
Yeah.
There was something I did not do
What
that
needed to be
that
done, set the standards, set the checks and balances.
and I then need to go, I need to apologize to myself, and I need to apologize to my team, like, hey, that was me, I messed that up, so that way they know I'm the one in charge.
Yeah.
Not just because this happened, I'm taking responsibility, and
Accountability.
this is what I'm doing to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah. It's beautiful, man. Go out and read those books. I mean, I got some honorable mentions like the the Miracle Morning is really good. Like I know a lot of my books tend to deal with self development, not more of the technical stuff, because all the technical stuff, if you can implement all the technical stuff, if you don't approach it with the deep work and the right mindset and the right approach and schedule and balance and counterbalance your life, you're gonna burn out. And that's another book that I read, The Burnout. Like the, it's it's possible to do that when you're not fueling the your why, right?
Yeah.
When you're just going through and doing tasks so man, go get these books. Read them. You got look. Just do one book a month, and maybe down the line we'll start a little book club where we could uh, bounce ideas off each other and build as we go through these books. These are foundational
Yeah,
books in my business and in my life.
I think that's dope, and even scheduling a time for self development, having a set time where you say, okay, this is the time that I'm devoted to developing myself and getting these right, or just using situations. If you drive to work instead of listening to music, listen to an audiobook. If you
Yes,
have time where you can do that, like you're never going to regret investing in your self development because
yes.
that's what's going to
And
continue
that's
to grow.
either that's even if you're not wanting to be an entrepreneur. You're a better asset to the business that you're working in
Hmm.
by self development.
Oh yeah, I could tell when I remember even working at the churches that I've worked at, I would constantly read like books on church growth and other things and try to find a way of bringing those concepts into our meetings. And that's super valuable when you have somebody on your team that's constantly like, "Hey, I just learned this. Hey, I just did this and I think this could be helpful for us." That is like a huge asset to any business leader or organizational leader because you're obviously invested in the mission going forward. So,
Yeah. And I want to say one last thing: leaders are readers. That's it. And with technology now, we have audiobooks. But if you, which my wife is a big advocate of, if you could read a book, a physical book, it doesn't matter if it takes you 6 months to go through and
mhm.
highlight some things, circle some things. It does
Yeah,
something else to your mind.
my wife is more of a hard book person too. Like
Yeah,
I'm
that's just
I'm
me.
definitely more audio.
Me too, because I like to go through it, but I like for the books that really capture me. I
Yeah,
do have the physical copy, and I read through the physical copy. I circle stuff, I highlight stuff. I what is it called? Pig ear. I fold the edges of the pages that I find something that's really impactful in. So sometimes, sometimes I feel myself going down, and I'll automatically go to the big leap. And I was like, okay, what is it in my thermostat that is driving me to drive myself down?
because the concepts that you learn, they're gonna come up, and you're gonna like remember.
Yeah,
Oh man, I remember reading that. Like this is how I can avoid. Like it's just so helpful. It just gives you such an advantage
yeah,
when you're constantly investing in yourself. Like people who are like, no, that's not really gonna like you would be shocked at like what it's going to do for you when you invest in consistently growing in your personal life.
Let me say something controversial. Let me say something controversial. Now, what did they make punishable by death to slaves if they were caught doing it?
Reading.
Oh, so if reading is not that, reading is so powerful, it could change the mind of a slave to be like, wait a minute, dog, you just
They
like me.
I mean, we're now just realizing that slaves had their own Bible that took out so much of of the
Yeah,
scriptures that we have now.
100%. So like, bro, read, read. Reading will open your mind to stuff that people aren't telling you, but they're exploiting and making hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars every day because they know how to navigate certain areas.
You
Just reading is a powerful, powerful thing. And I know for in the United States, young boys and young men, they tend to not like reading as much as they like math and science.
yeah,
But to fully develop in math and science, you have to read. Read, read. Even if you don't like it, even if you fall asleep when you read, Like, do it until your body's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do.
It makes the biggest difference
Yeah,
because you're going to come across issues that you're not going to know the answer for, that if you were reading and learning, it's going to come to you when you need it the most, because there are times you have to make a decision and you want to make an informed decision.
yeah,
And the only way that you can do that is by consistently reading and making it a regular routine
yeah.
that's a part of your day.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. I really love this episode. I hope we added a lot of value and gave some good uh, stuff that people could go and grab and really impact them and their organization and their entrepreneurial journey, or their, what is it called, entrepreneurial journey, when you're
Yeah,
entrepreneurial mindset but you're in a 9 to 5 position.
right. An entrepreneur. Yep, that's what they call it.